money and the work. The more we got, the more we seen, it just was never gonna be enough. Ain't never gonna fix what's wrong. Maybe we all lost. And maybe we're never gonna be found.
Now, in today's breakdown, we're going to be running through the official teaser for Raising Kanan Season 5, which will be coming on June the 12th. Mark it down on your calendars, clear your schedules, make sure your Do Not Disturb is on your phone in and around those dates, because this is going to be absolute cinema. The last and final season for Raising Kanan really is about to be a movie. And just the vibe that you get from this teaser alone, it's intense, it feels intense, it really looks like it's going to be an intense season that keeps us on the edge of our seats throughout each episode, which will probably leave us questioning, will Marvin survive, will Unique survive, what happens with characters like Lou, Snaps, Pop, Stefano, and also some of the new players that they're introducing as well. They say nobody is safe in the world of power, and this season they definitely mean it, no doubt. And judging by this teaser, they are also teasing Rock's potential death. She's nowhere to be seen in the teaser. They also have Marvin visiting the graveyard as well, and no doubt they've done that on purpose. They're just keeping us on our toes just before Season 5. They're keeping us guessing in terms of whether Rock actually survives Season 4. But from the Thomases to Unique, Snaps, Pop, and a couple of new players that they have introduced, the teaser really does look intense. Everyone looks like they mean business, so we're going to get straight to business as well. We're going to be running through all these brand new scenes and what we can expect in all things Raising Kanan Season 5, the final season, which is returning on June the 12th.
Ain't never gonna fix what's wrong. Ain't never gonna fill the hole in our hearts. Maybe we all lost.
Now, the first thing I do want to dissect when it comes to this teaser is the words that Marvin spoke. The money and the work, the more we got, the more we've seen, it was just never going to be enough. It was never going to fix what was wrong. It's never going to fill the holes in our hearts. Maybe we all lost and maybe we're never going to be found. Now, this is one of my favorite parts when it comes to Raising Kanan, dissecting these sorts of conversations and mainly the older Kanan's narration. It's my favorite element when it comes to this particular Power spin-off, because the conversations that these guys have, some of the words that they speak, definitely always means more. And my takeaway from the choice of Marvin's words is the more that they've built, the more cash that they've stacked, the uglier it got. From betrayals, the deaths, secrets that were exposed, the cycle of the game. Marvin was basically telling us no amount of money or power was ever going to heal the Thomases. You think about all the trauma that they've been through throughout 4 seasons. Look at all the trauma that Jukebox has been through, what Marvin's been through and lost. The fact that the Thomas family is basically broken beyond repair, maybe even more so if Rock really is dead. The money was never going to be enough. The money was never going to fix what was wrong. Was the money really worth it in the end? Because money can never fill the hole in their hearts, which is something I think we can all take away in just in general real life, which is also the consequences that the game permanently leaves behind as well. Guilt, loss, loneliness. You think about the conversation that Marvin had with Jukebox after Famous had died. What did he say to Juke?
Don't end up like me, because I'm only good for one thing. And one thing only, the shit I'm good for is bad.
He was only good for one thing, and the shit that he was good for is bad. That's not what he wanted for Juke, but it definitely is too late. They've lost so much and they can never be found. In a nutshell, Marvin was speaking about the whole series as a whole and basically what the series was building towards right at the end. They chased money and power thinking that's what will save them and help them, but it only dug the hole deeper and deeper as the series progressed. The game didn't just take their lives, it's also eaten away at their souls, from basically everyone. And in this final season, I do think they're about to find out there really is no way of coming back from that. In my opinion, it's the most perfect and heartbreaking tone setter for this final season of Raising Kanan, which also does make us question whether Marvin could actually be speaking after the loss of Rock. With that being said, that's the conversation from Marvin. Let's dig into the rest of the scenes, starting with Kanan.
I'm not asking for forgiveness for what I've done.
I'm done making excuses for you and for me. Nobody's untouchable.
Now, we definitely all want answers to this. Did Kanan shoot Rock? Which is, I think, this particular scene here. We're going to get the answer pretty much straight off the bat. It's Kanan in Rock's house. He's wearing the same thing he was wearing at the end of Season 4. So Season 5 definitely will be picking up pretty much straight from where they left off. And not showing Rock in this teaser, having this particular scene here with Marvin visiting the graveyard, it really is leaving the question open whether or not Rock did survive the end of season 4. Which, personally, I still think she has, but that's just my opinion. Although this teaser really is making me have my doubts, I have to be honest. I'd be very intrigued to hear your guys' thoughts in the comment section, whether some of you guys are actually thinking the same. Whether some of you who thought Rock did survive, but after watching this particular teaser, whether it's something you guys are now unsure of, or whether it's now giving you doubts, especially seeing Marvin here. Whether some of you are having second thoughts, because honestly, I can't lie, I definitely am. I am leaning more towards the fact she did survive, but I would be lying if I also said I wasn't having doubts. Now, with Kanan elsewhere in the teaser, he really does look like a character that does mean business. He really does. Everybody looks like they mean business from Kanan over to Breeze. But Kanan really is going to be a character who no doubt will be turning from that pup into a wolf.
In the street, cause he about to go from being a pup to a wolf real fucking quick. That's my word.
Now, this is something that was teased way back in season 2, and now we're about to see it come to fruition. Playtime's over, Kanan Stark is here to cause some chaos, and also with Breeze. We know Breeze was introduced at the end of season 4, the introduction that we were all waiting for. We finally got it in episode 10, and now we're about to see what he can do as well. Just like Kanan, he ain't here to play games either. Sasha Penn has teased this is a character that won't disappoint, and I definitely have no doubt he won't either. He's got that smirk, that devilish look, no doubt he's got that killer instinct, and we are going to see it at some point in season 5. We're going to see that relationship between Kanan and Breeze, we're going to see his characteristics, what he's about, how he runs the streets, whether Kanan's words that he spoke about Breeze back in Power are true, he was strong but not smart, or was that just kind of Kanan's point of view in terms of how he particularly saw Breeze, his perspective and his point of view? These are some of the questions that I have raised previously before. Now, one thing that did stick out to me from this little teaser was Breeze sitting here with a chessboard. I've always wondered who taught Kanan chess, and it really does look very similar to a shot that we saw in Power when Kanan was playing chess just before he shot Sean back in season 2. The fact that we also have Breeze here playing chess, the fact that we had Snaps and Pop saying he was a visionary and a scholar, I personally do think he will be a character that will have a lot of street smarts. The fact that Kanan said he was strong but not smart, it's maybe the way he particularly saw him. I think he will be pretty smart and ruthless at the same time, especially judging by this. And I really am intrigued to see them build this relationship. We know Breeze played a big role in the developments of Kanan, Tommy and Ghost. So maybe when you're kind of looking at it from that point of view, maybe there is no need for Rock in this final season. Maybe Rock actually is dead because we're now about to transition into a new era for Kanan with Breeze just before Power Origins. And the scenes that we maybe get from Rock, because she definitely was filming season 5. I have no doubt she was there filming the last season. Maybe those scenes are kind of just hallucinations, visions that we see across the seasons. I mean, that could definitely be a possibility. Again, I'm still leaning more towards her surviving, but that small element of doubt is actually creeping in. But with Breeze, really excited to see this partnership, really excited to see what he's about and what he can do, how he mentors Kanan, what he teaches him, and whether we see Breeze interacting with anyone else, whether it be the Thomases to Unique. With that being said, let's move over to Unique. Now, towards the end of season 4, one thing we do have to remember is that Panessa was taken by Lou and B Rilla. Both Panessa and Jerome were taken, but they are making no secret of the fact that Panessa is safe, she is okay, and Jerome will most likely be safe as well. What I really am intrigued to see going forward is just how unhinged Unique is, especially with what we know of in terms of what he went through with his head injury from Ronnie's battering in season 3. Throughout season 4, we saw him really struggling to cope. He had all sorts of anger issues. There were these things that would trigger him. Is he back to being that smooth Unique we knew? Or is there still going to be that anger and that element of unpredictability? Aside from that, nothing else from the teaser from Unique, apart from Marvin bursting into his tailoring shop where he does look like he means business. This is definitely Unique's shop, so not sure what's caused Marvin to burst into here the way he is, but no doubt it definitely ain't going to be a great conversation, that's for sure. Now moving over to Lou, same questions really for everybody else in this final season. Does Lou survive? Is this game really worth the trouble that it came with? We know he's a character who really has struggled between the two worlds, music and the street game, and it definitely is going to be time for Lou, unfortunately, in my particular opinion. I do also believe he's in Rock's house here. His facial reaction does look like someone who doesn't like what he's just seen. Maybe he's the one who's come in as Kanan was just about to pull the trigger on Rock. Who knows? There wasn't much else from Lou in terms of the teaser. With Marvin, we spoke about his words and my thoughts behind them. But this is the season where I think you're definitely going to have to get your tissue boxes ready. This is the season where I do think it is going to be time to say goodbye. No doubt we're going to see Marvin on his classic Marvin shit, he's going to be doing his gangster shit as well as making mistakes, and I do think come the end, mainly for Duke to leave New York and be that final nail in Jukebox's heart, I do think Marvin simply has to go. With Duke, really interested to see how they end their story arc in Raising Kanan, especially if it is true that she's not returning to Power Origins. I personally don't think it's too much of a big deal that she's not returning, but it does leave a lot of questions for them to answer in Season 5. Why is she no longer in Queens? What happens in Raising Kanan Season 5 that pushes her to potentially leave New York? Will we get all the answers in terms of why she became a cop? Why she changed her surname to Ghana? Probably not. Some things will definitely be left open, but I do trust Sasha Penn to kind of close off this story in the right way for Jukebox, especially if she isn't coming back to Power Origins. Now, Snaps and Pop, these are two characters who I really have been invested in, especially after the final season, with how they have everybody on strings. I did mention these are the two most powerful and influential players in the game, all from the comfort of their restaurant. And I do think the same will be said in Season 5. Having said that, I do also think they're going to be facing some big troubles in this final season as well. Questions whether Kanan will find out the truth in terms of what actually happened to Crystal and Famous. If he does, I highly doubt he's just going to let Snaps and Pop get away with it. And we also don't know how the other two new players will fit in terms of the structure of the game as well. We've got our first look at Florence, Flossie Sigel, and also Pino Bernardi. Where do they fit in terms of the overall drug game with Snaps, Pop, and also Stefano, who we know did survive from the stab wound from Phil Russo. They made no secret of it towards the end of Season 4 that he did survive, so seeing Stefano shouldn't really be a surprise to anyone. Last but not least, this is, I believe, is potentially Jarita, a character who I do think we saw in a previous different Raising Kanan teaser, and a character who we definitely will be continuing to see in Power Origins. With that being said, that's the teaser. There is still so much more to dissect from the articles that have been released and everything else, but we definitely will get to them over the coming week because we still have plenty of time before the beginning of Raising Kanan Season 5. Again, mark your calendars, June the 12th. Raising Kanan will be back this summer. With that being said, drop all your thoughts down below in the teaser. I know you guys have a lot to say on this one, so definitely get your comments down below in the comment section. And as always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.